Morning, folks, and welcome to this week's PFL podcast. I'm Curtis Chandler, and we've got a lot to report on this week. Oil whipsawed on Hormuz and closed the week higher. The UP-NS merger is back before the board, and a biofuel mandate is landing on the tank car fleet and raising fuel prices. The Dow closed higher on Friday, but down 262.98 points on the week. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq closed higher on Friday of last week and higher week over week. See PFL's rail report for all closing indices. In overnight trading, Dow futures traded higher and are expected to open up 33 points from Friday's close. WTI closed lower on Friday of last week, but higher on the week. It settled down 67 cents per barrel to close at $71.41 per barrel, but was up $2.72 per barrel week over week. WTI is poised to open $1.41 higher from Friday's close. U.S. commercial crude inventories built 3 million barrels week over week, but are still 6% below the 5-year average for this time of year. Distillates did the big heavy lifting, down 5 million barrels and sitting 12% below the 5-year average for this time of year. Propane inventories decreased 800,000 barrels last week, but are still 29% above the 5-year average for this time of year. Total commercial petroleum inventories fell overall 4 million barrels week over week. CPFL's rail report for all inventory levels and further details. North American rig count slipped by 10 rigs week over week. The U.S. added 1 rig and now sits at 581 active rigs, while Canada dropped 11 rigs and now sit at 179 active rigs. Year over year, we are up 61 rigs collectively. North America rail volumes fell 5.78% in week 28 compared to the same week last year. 6 of 11 of AR's major traffic categories posted year-over-year decreases. The largest decrease came from coal, which was down 26.44%. The largest increase was from metallic ores, up 34.65%. Carloads were up, but intermodal was way down and was down 13.21%. See PFL's rail report for further details. Now, a few things we are watching out there for you. Starting with Hormuz. War on, war off made for a volatile week. Washington revoked the sanctions waiver that had led Iranian barrels back to the market, then struck Iranian targets multiple times over the weekend, and WTI settled above $72 as a result. The reopening of Hormuz was viewed by some as a permanent situation, but now again is a conditional deal Iran isn't honoring. The strategic petroleum reserves is down to 319.5 million barrels, its lowest level since 1983. For rail, sustained strength in North American crude keeps refiners pulling hard and tank cars turning. Over to Enbridge. The main line is running at 95% utilization, moving roughly 2/3 of Canadian crude that leaves the country with no room to add barrels. That's a precondition for any rail conversion, but the economics aren't there yet, with pipelines full and producers are taking lower netbacks. PFL knows the fleet math runs ahead of the price signal. There aren't many 117J crude cars sitting idle, and build times are 1 to 2 years, and the commitment is a big one. The STB is where the UP-NS combination lives or dies. The pair filed their first tranche of supplemental information last week, offering to dilute stakes in 3 jointly owned businesses, with the rest of the board's requests due by July 27. It's the first real test of the 2001 rules requiring a merger to enhance competition, not to merely preserve it. An $85 billion deal. We'll see what happens. On the renewable side, D4 biomass-based diesel RINs climbed roughly 130% this year to $2.54 on Friday's close. With the EPA's Set 2 rule now in effect, the RIN bank is thinnest since 2022. What that means, more rail cars, more blending, and so forth. See today's report for further details on this one, and call PFL today for some fleet management ideas. Also, see PFL report for other great stories and data that affect you, the reader. That's this week wrapped up as we see it. Whether it's storage, leasing, subleasing, car cleaning, repair, flaring, scrapping, nitrogen generation, transloading service, PFL is here to keep your fleet moving. Give us a call, and if this podcast and report was useful, pass it on to someone in the business or a friend, colleague. David and I were up in Calgary last week for Stampede. A lot going up in Canada right now. Please call either one of us on the desk if you wish to discuss. Also, Brian Baker is up in Mars right now. If you would like to meet with Brian, please call the desk, or please call Brian's cell phone directly at 239-297-4519. We hope that everyone has a great, safe week out there. Thanks for listening, thanks for reading, and thanks for passing it on.